All right, let's just dive right into this explainer. If you're building modern software today, you're inevitably going to run into a really common architectural challenge. And honestly, it's one that often sparks a classic developer rivalry. You've got multiple different parts of a system, right? And they all need to communicate with each other asynchronously. Now, when developers look to actually solve this, two heavyweight tools immediately step into the ring: Apache Kafka and RabbitMQ. So today, we're going to unpack this great messaging debate and figure out exactly when you should use which.
So here's our game plan for this heavyweight bout. We'll be hitting 1. The messaging dilemma. 2. Core design philosophies. 3. Scale versus sophistication. 4. To keep or delete. 5. Operational complexity. And finally, making the right choice. Let's get into it. Starting with Section 1, the messaging dilemma, or basically how we handle asynchronous communication. Picture this. You have this completely chaotic problem of microservices needing to talk to each other, and they have to do it without bringing your entire system to a grinding halt. Architects immediately face the ultimate question: do I go with Kafka, or do I lean on RabbitMQ? To answer that properly, we can't just look at a bulleted feature list. We really have to understand what core problem they're actually trying to solve. Before we pit them against each other, let's define the fundamental solution they both provide, which is asynchronous messaging. Simply put, this concept lets different services send and receive messages totally independently, without sitting around waiting for an immediate response. It's the backbone that keeps modern, decoupled systems running fast. Now, both Kafka and RabbitMQ do this, but they were built for meaningfully different use cases. Moving into Section 2, Core Design Philosophies. This is really about the DNA of the tools. Now, what's super interesting here is that while both tools solve that same asynchronous communication problem, their fundamental architectural DNA is completely different. Kafka was originally built over at LinkedIn, specifically to handle extreme, high-throughput, real-time data streaming at a truly massive scale. RabbitMQ, on the other hand, evolved as a much more traditional message broker. It was built entirely around well-established, super reliable queue and consume messaging patterns. Their origins dictate pretty much exactly how they operate today. Let's take a peek at Kafka's DNA first. It's designed around the concept of a durable, ordered log of events. You can actually think of Kafka kind of like a broadcast radio station combined with a DVR. Multiple different systems can tune in and independently read from that durable log of events long after they were originally broadcast. It's just this constant, heavy stream of data that services can tap into whenever they need to. On the flip side, we have RabbitMQ. It operates more like a highly efficient, specialized post office. It uses a really well-established traditional pattern where messages are routed and delivered to a very specific queue, waiting for a specific consumer. And here's the kicker. Once that consumer grabs the message and processes it, the message is removed. So it's highly targeted rather than a broad, durable broadcast.
Okay, Section 3, Scale versus Sophistication, or Throughput versus Routing.
If we're comparing them head-to-head on sheer scale, Kafka is an absolute beast when it comes to pure volume. It absolutely excels at extremely high throughput scenarios. We are talking about processing literally millions of events per second. Things like user activity tracking, IoT sensor data, or massive real-time analytics pipelines. RabbitMQ, conversely, is much better suited to more traditional task queue scenarios, where the goal isn't millions of messages per second, but rather the highly reliable, perfectly ordered delivery of individual messages between specific services. So the really crucial trade-off here is how they handle routing. To achieve that massive throughput, Kafka intentionally sacrifices complex routing. It keeps its model comparatively simpler by organizing data primarily around named topics, which works flawlessly for its core streaming use case, but it does offer a bit less built-in flexibility. Now, RabbitMQ sacrifices a bit of that extreme top-end scale to offer highly sophisticated, flexible routing logic right out of the box. It actually lets you direct messages to different queues based on very detailed granular rules. Next up, Section 4, to keep or delete. Let's talk about message retention policies. In terms of message retention, this is a massive differentiator. Kafka is specifically engineered to retain messages for extended periods. This is a huge feature because it allows multiple different consumers to go back and reprocess the exact same historical data independently. So while Kafka acts like that DVR we talked about, RabbitMQ acts way more like a Snapchat message. It perfectly aligns with traditional task processing. Once the message is successfully consumed, boom, it's deleted. There's no long-term event replay, just a clean, empty queue that's ready for the next task.
All right, Section 5, Operational Complexity. Time for a little reality check. Look, because it does so much heavy lifting, Kafka generally requires a lot more operational complexity to run and maintain at a massive scale. Now, to be fair, managed cloud services have significantly reduced this burden recently, but purely out of the box, RabbitMQ is widely considered much simpler to set up and operate, particularly for moderate-scale use cases, or honestly for teams that might just be newer to setting up message queue systems in general. Which brings us to Section 6, making the right choice. Let's look at some heuristics and hybrids. Let's put this all together in a nice side-by-side summary. For primary use, Kafka is your go-to for high-throughput streaming, while RabbitMQ is your champion for traditional task queues. For routing, Kafka offers simple named topics. RabbitMQ gives you complex, flexible rules. Retention? Long-term event replay for Kafka, short-term consume and delete for RabbitMQ. And for overall complexity, Kafka is definitely higher at scale, whereas RabbitMQ is simpler for moderate-scale operations. When it's decision time, it essentially boils down to two main steps. Step 1. Assess if your primary need is massive throughput, real-time analytics, or building a system where multiple services need to independently process the exact same stream of events. If the answer is yes, Kafka is definitely your stronger fit. Step 2. Assess if your primary need is more traditional task processing. Things like background jobs or service-to-service communication with complex routing needs. If so, RabbitMQ remains the simpler, vastly more suitable choice. But wait, here's the really fascinating twist in all of this. It is absolutely not a zero-sum game. You really don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. In fact, many larger organizations end up using both in production. A lot of these larger teams just seamlessly divide the labor. They utilize Kafka exactly for what it's best at, which is handling high-volume event streaming and powering real-time analytics pipelines. And then, right alongside it, they run RabbitMQ to handle their more traditional application-level messaging and manage specific task queues. It's really just about using the right tool for the right job, even if that means bringing both heavyweights into the ring. And that pretty much wraps up our explainer. As you look at your own systems and the services you're building today, consider what they truly need to communicate effectively. Is it going to be the raw throughput and long-term retention of Kafka, or maybe the complex, super reliable routing of RabbitMQ? Which specific requirement is going to drive your next architectural decision? Think about that next time you sit down to design your system.